is to buy generations worth of salvation. Food, clothing, shelter, that'll extend your life.
Yeah,
But it doesn't do much for your afterlife.
yeah.
She made people stand up and pay attention to the very man she anointed. Who is this man worthy of a perfume wiped down? It's Jesus.
Yeah.
And he smells good. Who is this man worthy of a year's worth of wages? It's Jesus. And he's rich.
Yeah.
Who is this man that takes a story of a sinful harlot and makes her a righteous being?
Yeah.
It's Jesus, and he is our salvation. Now put yourself in her position and imagine you had a year's worth of wages. In California, 52 grand. Now let's take a hypothetical situation where you earn minimum wage, which is $11. I'm sure you ballers out there are scoffing at that idea of $11, but 9% of the unemployed in California would love to have that. To earn 52 grand at $11 an hour, you would have to work 90-hour work weeks. 90 hours. How many in a work week? 40-ish? 40 if you're lucky. That's twice the amount of time to work to earn 52 grand. Now imagine what you had to sacrifice. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time. Time with your kids. Time with your spouse. Time with your parents. Time with your loved ones. Time with your church. Now that's what it really boils down to, is time. What's the most valuable form of currency? It's time. You want to spend money? Spend time. Spend time with your kids. Now my brother-in-law, Chuck here, he asked me earlier this week about how much time will I take to prepare. And because he heard that Tala said it's about 20.
That's what they suggest.
That's what they suggest. That's what they suggest. So after calculating out all the time I spent on this sermon, it was about 24, so more than the suggested amount. But truth be told, when I really think about it, my sermon time, my sermon prep includes all the past sermons I've sat through here at Excel Church, 4 years. All the cell group sessions I sat through, 6 years. All the Conquering conferences I've been to. Now, mind you, if you go to a Conquering conference and you go there for one weekend, that comes out to a whole year's worth. I'm just saying, because I'm tired after every one of these. I went to 10 of these. 10 years right there. And I'm also going to count all the years that I lived without Jesus. Why? How does that help me with sermon prep? Because retrospection and hindsight are great teachers. 30 years without Jesus. You add that all up, and this 34-year-old male has been prepping for this sermon for 50 years. And it's all going to be released in this 40-minute sermon. Amen. Is that worth it? Cramming all those years in this moment almost seems like a waste. Cramming 1 year's worth of wages in a 5-minute anointing seems like a waste by worldly standards. By worldly standards. That's the key right there. Someone's lifetime can be summed up, their legacy can be summed up in one sentence. Oh, known as a great singer. That's your caption. Your one sentence. You're known as a great singer. Tala, you're a great speaker. Mila, you're a great negotiator. Paula, she's a great motivator. All of that sweat and tears, all of that hard work, all of that sacrifice to be defined by one sentence. That's going to be plastered on your tombstone. But with God, the game changes right there. What if I were to say that, was a great singer for God? Tala was a great speaker for God. Mila was a great negotiator for God. Paula was a great motivator for God. Your one sentence description of your life is still going to be one sentence, but for God, it becomes part of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now imagine that, having your name as gospel. The book of Al. The book of Mila. The book of Chuck. The book of Jennifer. I know it's coming off as a joke, but the truth of the matter is that your legacy may be the only sermon someone hears. Thank you for Brother BJ Nate Nate for his devotional. Your legacy may be the only sermon someone hears, or the only gospel someone witnesses, or the only bridge to salvation through Jesus Christ. That unnamed woman was tagged with being a sinner. That was her one sentence description. But with God, she added her story of salvation through Jesus Christ. The gospel of Jesus Christ is still being written to this day because of people like Bo, Tala, Mila, Chuck, Keela, all of Excel. Now that is a legacy I'm happy to be a part of. My one sentence description is nothing but a small cog in the most biggest scheme in the world. I'm part of the gospel of Jesus Christ. This woman was a breakout star because she uniquely showed how Jesus worked through her to transform her. She did it generously, not holding back anything, doing as much as she could. And because of that, she added her saved life to the legacy of Jesus Christ. This sinful woman was a breakout star of the highest order. Bottom line today, family, is that the ultimate test of a person's uniqueness to God is their willingness to sacrifice today for tomorrow, for future generations whose words of thanks will not be heard. That is the hardest part to read right there. The word of thanks will never be heard. That's how you break out and spread out.